Well, it's that time of year again. Naming day is close stretched on the far horizon, and everyone's in a friendly, festive spirit.
Which makes it the perfect opportunity to spend some time with our fellow Matoran. The other Toa have been rather distant over the past few months, which I suppose is understandable. We've had our fair share of problems.
All of which are entirely Pohatu's fault.
So we're taking a little time away from each other. Spending the holidays together nearly tore us apart last year. Tahu and Kopaka can't be kept in the same room for more than 5 minutes.
But luckily enough, we managed to settle our dispute like the mature Toa that we are, and with minimal damage to the surrounding neighborhood.
While we were apart, the Turaga thought it would be wise for us to share tales of our adventures as Toa. It's our chance to keep the tradition alive in this cold and wintry weather.
So obviously I must have kicked a baby dermis turtle in the face in a past life. I'm certainly being punished for it now.
Being a Toa is hard work, to say the least, and I don't like to talk about my fellow teammates behind their backs, but Kopaka can sometimes be so...
Antisocial, undermining, passive-aggressive, snowball-flinging pessimistic.
Kopaka is a good person and a wise Toa, but his relentlessly unfeeling, abrasive nature makes him completely incompatible in a group environment.
It's quite clear that we work better when we're together. The strength of any effective Toa team comes from its unity, yet he persists to go it alone.
The Toa of Ice is Everglum, choosing to listen to the harsh Arctic howls of Mount Ihu than the sweet sing-song of his fellow Toa. But can you really blame him? Have any of you even cringe heard Pohatu's singing voice? It goes from bad to ever worse.
There are 4 other Toa on this team and a whole village full of needy Pomotaran who he neglects, yet Pohatu keeps on following me everywhere I go. It wouldn't be so bad if he didn't have such a childish overdependence on my friendship.
While Pohatu means well, he can be quite intrusive, constantly popping up where he's not welcome and interrupting our daily lives. He got me kicked out of the Kini Nui library last week.
Coley game after Coley game, he's a sports maniac. He gets way too obsessive. And don't even get me started on that time he kicked me a full swing when I scored a goal past him. My back hasn't been the same ever since.
Oh man, Kopaka gets so mad at him. It's hilarious. I wonder how long it'll take for our icy brother to realize that I've secretly been bribing Pohatu to stalk him this whole time.
I bet Tahu's in on the whole thing.
On the other hand, Gali can be nice enough. She is wise, and she does try harder than any of us to keep the peace. But she has a real aggressive streak. When she gets into one of her moods, she's impossible to reason with.
I want to cut her some slack. It can't be easy being the only female on an all-male Toa team. But she can be paranoid, stubborn, and stroppy without provocation. I think we all know who the real leader of the Toa Mater is.
Not to mention her crave need of all the latest fads. There are some people who just should ever not use chirp, and all she posts are repetitive inspirational quotes that she got off of Turaga no Kama.
Spiritually, Gali is the strongest of all us Toa, yet she also contests to having the strongest emotional range, making her impossible to handle.
Gali's secret is that she doesn't want to hear what you want. She wants you to say things that she wants, only in a more masculine voice. That, my friends, is the key to understanding women.
And then there's Liwa. He's constantly getting himself into shenanigans that he can't work himself out of. But does anyone else try? Nope, it's always me who has to bail the poor guy out. I swear, if I had a widget for every time I've saved someone around here, Koro would have its own theme park.
There's no doubt that all Toa of Air are insane. It's just a question of how much crazy can squeeze itself into one walking bag of gas.
Sure, I like the guy, but he just can't sit still. That's my biggest problem with him. I get dizzy from simply watching him jump around everywhere.
Liwa is juvenile and still has a long way to go in terms of wisdom. You're only young for so long, but some of the Toa I know never stop being immature.
Plus, he can be so insensitive towards others, making heartless jokes at the expense of his fellow Toa, and making public that which should be kept private, just for entertainment. You wouldn't catch me doing that.
Despite his congeniality, Onua is ever slow, boring, and confusing. Seriously, why can't people just talk what they mean these days instead of being so cryptic all the time?
Onua has many of the same beliefs that I do. We both favor teamwork and wisdom before blunt physical tactics. But sometimes I feel Onua would be better placed amongst the Turaga.
It's like he doesn't even try when we play Koli these days. It's a real shame, because that's been our favorite pastime for so long. And Onua is such a dear friend. It quite saddens me to think that we're growing apart.
I respect him for his knowledge and his silence. Onua speaks when spoken to, and even then he only speaks when he has something useful to say. But when he does speak, I usually disagree with everything he says. People who say that they know everything are a great irritation to those of us that actually do.
Wait, Anua? You mean to tell me there's a Toa of Earth on my team? Wait, does he usually wear a kakama?
Working with my fellow Toa isn't always easy, but I rely on them. I defect to them, and I give so much at my own expense, because the team, not the individual, is the ultimate champion.
We put our differences aside and accept each other as our brother and sister Toa. Without our unity, we're doomed to crash wreck.
The trick is to work less as 6 individual Toa and more as a team.
You know what? I'm resigning. I refuse to work with Tahu any longer.
You hear all that stuff about unity, duty, and destiny, but none of the 3 virtues have any deep meaning. As Toa, we are bound by one single dutiful pledge.
To keep my job!
Either you guys want a Toa stone. I'm serious.
And no matter what we think of our teammates, no matter how cold they are, or how annoying or antisocial, we will always accept each other.
Despite all our problems, I take pride in the fact that all the other Toa can at least appreciate how much I do for the team.
Tahu does absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Not a single thing.
Nothing at all.
And that's the one thing we agree on.